Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Grind Time Shop. Today's a very exciting day because we're talking about puff print. We've had a lot of clients asking for puff prints, and honestly, just about a month ago, we had no idea where to start. Luckily, places like YouTube exist, and after some digging, we heard that Wilflex was a favorite amongst some of the shops that we follow closely. We hit up our good friends over at Ryonet and screenprinting.com. Our rep over there, Matt, was so awesome and sent us over a quart of Wilflex Epic New Puff Base for us to test out and review. So we used it, and I gotta be honest, we love it. The stuff's great. We figured it might be best, though, to show you. We figured if we're gonna show you, we might as well give you a pretty in-depth look at really what puff printing is and how you can get it started doing it in your shop on an everyday basis, okay? Because this stuff can take a little bit to figure out, but hopefully when you finish up this video, you'll be armed with some stuff that's gonna help you go out and get that perfect puff print for your job, your client, or your clothing line. Let's go ahead and get started right now. Roll that shit, Cody! Yo, so puff print is super awesome as well as super hot right now. And if you know us here at Grind Time Clothing Concepts, we just hate saying no to people. So today we're going to be giving you a peek under the hood for what worked for us and what didn't, as well as kind of giving you a step-by-step basis on how to get started printing puff in your shop for your jobs as well. I guess first things first, we should go over what we did wrong. You should be printing most of your puff designs on a 110 to a maximum of a 155 mesh, okay? In most instances, you'll find that if you're going for that extreme puff, especially on fleecy garments, you're going to want to step down to the 110. At the same time, if you're going for real thin lines, you don't want it to puff out so bad that it's going to kind of puff into each other, you can step it up to a 155, which is exactly what we're going to do for the case today. 2, a lot of people have mixed emotions or mixed ideas on the ratio of actually puff to plastisol mix when you're mixing for color. What we came to find is that you gotta have a whole bunch of this puff stuff. The 50-50 mixtures just weren't cutting it for us in our shop. It wasn't working for us with our drying times and our dwell times. So we had to step the mix up significantly in order to get the puff that we were achieving. And we landed somewhere around an 80 to 20 puff to plastisol mix when you're mixing color. Really, the smartest thing we found is just to start with a whole bunch of puff and slowly add in color, measured amounts, of course, small bits at a time until you get the desired color that you're actually trying to achieve. But don't put in a whole bunch of color and then mix it a small amount until you're getting the color that you're looking for, and then I would stop right there because it seems kind of imperative to have a whole lot of puff inside this mix to really get a good puff off of the shirt. But we're doing a tutorial today, and we want you to be able to walk away ready to print puff as soon as you finish this video. So we're going to let you in on a little secret that nobody even told us, and I really wish they would have, okay? You ready? You ready? Are you ready?
They ain't ready.
If you're printing white puff, you don't got to do any mixing at all.
Yeah, figure that out. Just a little swipe right on the little test finger. Yeah.
You can see that Alan's paying a whole hell of a lot of attention right now.
Yeah.
Yep, I said it. The puff additive is actually a non-phthalate. Oh God, I don't even know how to say that word. Phthalate. Non-phthalate. That's how I would say. This is a non-PHA ink, and honestly, if you're looking for a white color to it, when it dries, it turns white. Okay? Mind blown. All right? We wish somebody would have told us that before we mixed a bunch of white into it the first time, and we had a whole bunch of issues, alright? So if you're looking for white print, you don't got to do anything. All you got to do, take this stuff, put it on a screen, make sure you got it good, and you can go right at printing some puff. And we'll go ahead and show you that right now.
Alright, so the first step is you're going to flood it. We're going to hit it 3 times. We're going to send it under the flash dryer for about 250 degrees. Bring it back. Do it 2 more times after that. We're having to do it 3 times because this is on a 155 right now. The last job that we did in puff, we did in a 110, and we only had to do it twice. So it depends on what mesh screen you're going with. So We're doing it 3 times because it is in this 155. When you're doing this and you lay it down and you can't really see anything, remember this is a Plastisol ink. So even though you're not going to really see it after you do everything and you run it through the dryer, once it goes through the dryer and hits that dwell time that's in there, that's when you're really going to see the color turn white. It's actually a white. Like I said, it's a Plastisol. So once it runs through that final drying, it will actually show up, puff, and be white. So don't freak out when you're laying it down and you can't see anything. Just follow the process, do your steps. You'll see a little, you know, you go hold it up in the light. You'll be able to see something, but don't freak out. It's there. Also, while you're flashing it, you will see the color start to slightly change a little bit, which is what you want. Get that little bit of color change, come back again, 2, 3, then run it through, and that's when you'll finally be able to see that puff and it actually showing up as nice and bright white. We're going to go ahead and lay this down real quick. We had some Grind Time shirts laying around. We're doing these on some long sleeves, all black. We had already printed, you know, some Grind Time neck tags in them, so they're good to go. Let's throw this thing down and do it. Running it through the dryer or anything, keep in mind you don't have to have a big conveyor dryer. Okay, what we did, and I'm going to show you step by step how we tested it and found out our dwell times and our temperature times and things like that, is we went ahead and took like an old t-shirt, okay, and you don't have to get a lot, but you know, I mean, you can take the stuff right off the cap here and you're just going to run your finger through it, just get a little bit. We're going to run it on the shirt. Kind of spread it out a little bit. Now mind you, this is going to be thicker than what it does when you lay it down, but this gives you an idea of how it's going to run through there. You know, you want to use your temperature gun, you want to check your times, you want to know how long it's going through there, how hot the dryer is. What we have found is that we set our dryer to 550 and dwell time is about 40 seconds. Watch it as it goes through and you'll see when it starts to puff and then it gets to a boom, it gets to a puff spot. And now if you leave it in there for too long, that puff will actually do like a cake does. If you undercook a cake, when you pull it out, that puff will just suck back in, and now you've left it in there too long and you got to start all over. So like I said, we found it 40 seconds at 550 works out great for us, and it's that last 5 seconds where you see it just boom, marshmallows. So we're gonna try that here. So you see we stick it in. And if you go to the other end, you can come and you can watch it as it comes out. You see right there, boom, right before it comes out. Huge marshmallows, big old glob of marshmallow there. And that thing is huge. I mean, that's probably almost as thick as my finger coming off of there. And like I said, that's a huge glob that we put on there. We want it to do exactly like that. As it comes out right at that last second, you want it to just, boom, it just swells and rises up. So that's why the 35 seconds to 40 seconds that we're running right now is perfect. And we found the temperature's great. It's not going anywhere. It puffed up, and you can see it's white. It ain't going nowhere. The color is there. Great. So we're going to go ahead and take this thing off of here. And like you said, you can barely see it. You can see it shiny. You know what I mean? You don't actually see a print, but I mean, it's there. It's not white. It's not anything. So don't freak out, like we said. We're going to run this thing through here and watch it puff up on the other side. See if I can get it to where you guys can kind of see it as it comes through. And we'll go on this side and take a look. It's that last few seconds is when it really starts to rise up on you. Look at that. Marshmallow. Looking great, feels great, looks great. And see, remember, we couldn't see it before, but we can definitely see it now. It's there, it's puffy, feels great, looks great. Now, you like that, Cody?
I do.
Alright, so y'all know this is a long sleeve. We ain't letting this leave without something printed on the sleeve. You know we making that happen. So let's show you that now.
especially on the puff prints, this is only going to read surface temperature. When you're temping it on its way through the dryer, you want to make sure that you're actually going somewhere between 50 to 100 degrees. We try to go closer to that 100 degree side over what you actually think your cure temp is, to ensure that the ink on the bottom layers is actually getting fully cured, as well as the ink on the top. If you don't have a conveyor dryer, you can get a heat gun and use one of these laser guns as well, and kind of temp yourself up until you hit your 325 degree cure temp. But like I said, if you're using one of these heat guns, make sure you're going at least 50 degrees, if not 100, and always make sure that you wash test everything you print inside of the shop before you send it out. Wash test it, rigorously put it through a lot. It took a Phillips head screwdriver being scraped through this puff print to get it out of a shirt the other day. So I think we're pretty good, but make sure you test all your garments, and make sure you're always watching out if you're using one of these things. They can be a little tricky sometimes. So with that being said, we're going to roll back over to me in the studio right about now. Alright, so as you can see, puff printing's really not that hard. It just takes some fine-tuning and some figuring out, you know. It was one of those things where I wish somebody would have just handed us all of that information we've just shared with you when we first got that Wilflex Epic New Puff. But at the same time, luckily we were able to figure it out, and hopefully we were able to shed some light on some issues you might be having. If you or anyone you know has been having some issues that, you know, we didn't address in the video, make sure you shoot them down here in the comments. Make sure you smash the subscribe button, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We appreciate y'all very much. From the Grind Time Shop to y'all, we hope y'all enjoy the puffs. Y'all have a good one.